TV Corner. Cool. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Film Core TV Corner podcast. Tonight we are discussing Lovecraft Country Season 1, Episode 3. The episode is called Holy Ghost. I'm Alex Kirschenbaum in Los Angeles, joined by Armani Barron in Atlanta. Hello, Armani.
Hello. Switching up locations this week.
Switching up locations indeed. All right, and so let's get into it. We'll unpack the what, and then we'll go into the what we think. All right, so after receiving a mysterious inheritance from the mother whose funeral she skipped, Letitia, played by Journey Smollett, buys a creepy mansion on the north side of Chicago in an all-white neighborhood. She converts the estate into a boarding house, inviting her sister, Ruby, played by Wunmi Mosaku, and Atticus, still mourning the death of his Uncle George, to move into the mansion with her, among others. Okay, so I guess we can break down this part of the story? Or I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, creepy is sort of an understatement. Like, I was like, did you see this house before you bought it? I know for at least my part of the Black experience is that we really don't get down with ghosts like that. And this would have been a immediate red flag, especially being in already an all-white neighborhood. But a lot of this episode was about sort of like pioneering. And as we get further into it, we're talking about like pioneering through the neighborhood. They touch on reflecting on a person who was considered a pioneer through science, though at the expense of Black bodies. So in her own right, Letty's looking to sort of like pave the way for other people of color to, be able to afford cheap housing in better neighborhoods. But at the, to the dismay and discomfort of her neighbors.
Right. Yeah, the other thing about it is, like, I get that, like, she bought it because, like, it's a fixer-upper or whatever, and probably was cheaper maybe than a non-haunted house, but, like, yeah, definitely creepy looking. And, like, they had that creepy elevator already in there.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Atticus is kind of, he stayed with his aunt, now widowed, and her daughter for a couple of days, but he's sort of worn out his welcome, and things are getting tense, so he tries to crash with his dad for a couple of days, but his dad is, like, kind of a total mess following the death of his brother, so that doesn't last. And then Atticus decides to return to Florida, but not before saying goodbye to Letty, who then convinces him to stick around for a bit after he sees the boarding house and sees the way that her neighbors are mistreating her, which is the next point of the little outline here. There's sort of weeks of escalating mistreatment from the neighbors that culminate in a cross being burnt on her front lawn. So she retaliates during the night of an epic party after a brisk hookup with Atticus. Though she's quickly released, the cop traveling with her in the paddy wagon, who's taking her in, informs her that her new house is haunted by the ghost of a deranged white scientist, Hiram Epstein, and by the ghosts of 8 Black people he conducted illicit experiments upon before murdering and burying them in the house, beneath the house. And so that's a whole... That's a good like, I don't know, 15-minute chunk of the movie, that party, and then the fallout with her getting arrested.
Yeah. I mean, I was definitely glad that what we've learned, I think during this political climate especially, what we've seen is that a lot of people will go against their own interests just to be petty. And as we've seen, as like Letty and the rest of her house guests / roommates are like being constantly harassed by their neighbors who are like parking their cars and taping bricks to their steering wheel so they're always honking. Like, to me, this seems insane because that means everyone in the area is suffering, not just Letty.
Right.
So to me, it seems really kind of productive, but it goes to show that also like how how illogical hateful actions can be, even like on the smallest scale. Like, it's all dumb. Like, you're ruining your own neighborhood. That night when they come and they burn the cross in their yard, not only is that, really terrifying for a lot of people, but also just like, of course Letty is going to retaliate. Of course we were I was happy to see it done when we were just like over this. And again, it's just heartbreaking to see like law enforcement not only condoning it, but also treating Letty really unfairly while she's detained, giving what's called like a rough ride. So just like banging up a person, someone who's been arrested just because you can. And of course, Letty has no one to go to afterwards. Who do you go to when the police are the people abusing their power? Obviously not more police.
It's a good way of sort of setting up the scary outside world, plus we get the beginning sense that the internal world of the house is a little scary too. Um, and then I guess a couple scenes later, she confesses to Ruby that she inherited the money from their mom without telling her. Ruby calls her out for her selfishness and not sharing the money, and their relationship, always tenuous before this anyway, splinters further. Um, and then I'm going to go to the next bit here. Letty and Atticus hire a medium to cast out the vengeful ghost of Epstein. And the ghost and the 8 murdered souls, upon being summoned by the medium, murder 3 of Letty's neighbors who have broken into the house and appeared prepared to elevate their mistreatment of their neighbor even more. And then the medium or voodoo priestess becomes possessed by the spirit of Epstein and attacks Atticus and Letty. The spirit then transfers into Atticus and confronts Letty, who implores the 8 murdered ghosts to help her successfully cast out Epstein from the house. And then they are able to kind of cross over and stop haunting it as well. So that's sort of like the big crux of the episode before the postscript that we'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, what did you think of this whole haunted house sort of bottle wraparound episode?
I mean, at first I was like kind of on the fence about the horror element. Like I think I wanted more like Hereditary style, and I feel like in some ways this went like a little bit like more classic haunting campy. Yeah, like the baby head on the basketball player. That I mean it was creepy, but I felt like it was like kind of just so ridiculous that it wasn't exactly like it wasn't as scary because I found some aspects very silly. So I would appreciate it if definitely they had gone like more of a dramatic serious route, but also like they only have an hour to do this. So I do also simultaneously respect the tone. But I mean, I love the final scene with Journey, aka Letitia, calling upon like her ancestors to help her banish Epstein's ghost, and that they were able to find their own closure and healing in the process as well, because we can see like their ghostly wounds start to heal up. And also, Journey's Gauntlet really kills this episode. Like there was a lot on her for the majority of this.
Yeah, she's really good. Michael K. Williams kind of disappears after like sort of a little scene with Atticus, who becomes more of a side character, and yeah, it's really her episode.
Yeah, yeah. I was kind of worried personally with the first episode that she wasn't like, she's going to be like kind of like a classic femme sidekick, but it's really nice to see that she's really a fully fleshed out character, is getting her own spotlight. And now I don't quite actually know who the show's about because you think it's about Atticus, but if you just saw this episode, you assume that the show is actually about her, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, and that speaks to like the fluid nature of the storytelling with the show so far, because
Mm-hmm.
the first episode's about Atticus, the second episode's kind of about all 3 of them: Atticus, George, and Letty, and now this one's mostly Letty, and like the first 2 episodes are kind of the same story, and then this is basically a totally more or less self-contained episode. They sort of wrap up some stuff with George at the beginning, and then at the end we have this sort of tag that points to a longer narrative that we can talk about in a second. But like, yeah, like the crux of the story is Letty's situation with the house and the neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting how they shift the focus. I like this a lot more than the last episode. I really didn't like that last episode, the more I think about it. But the first episode was a solid start, and then it rebounded this week.
Yeah, definitely. I think also too what I loved is like when those 3 white neighbors break in to sort of like terrorize them in their own house, which to me is, whatever. I liked that they sort of got their own comeuppance in that moment, like one of them being decapitated by the elevator, and then the other two being taken, we can assume by ghosts, but we don't quite know. I mean, so when the baby ghost, when the baby ghost first comes to attack them, I wasn't quite sure like how this, again, by this point, we still didn't know how it was quite going to tie into the other episodes until we get to the end.
Like, we didn't need any of this really if it's actually about the story that the end points to it being about, because the end's about like something pretty different. But it's I guess it feels like it was sort of shoehorned into the larger narrative. It feels like they just want to have a ghost story, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
The ending that is Atticus going into town in Chicago proper to confront his distant cousin, the witch Christina of the Braithwaite family, whose house they destroyed in the last episode. And he discovers that she left Letty the money for her home and pretended it was from her mother's estate. And then Christina reveals that the Epstein house, was built by a banished member of the family's cult, the Sons of Adam, and tries to recruit Atticus to help her find pages stolen by the long-deceased Sons of Adam expat who built the house that could lead to, you know, the elusive, like immortality, I think. Still, she's on that kick, right? Yeah, that she wants. So that's what the point of the house is in the larger story. It's like the fact that the house is haunted is incidental. What really matters is that she has the house, and the house is going to be sort of like the starting point for the search of these missing pages, apparently.
Yes, and I think obviously like they need Atticus to do it, because otherwise she could just, have gone into the house on her own. But again, like going back into like Atticus having some sort of power, because he is, related to, is also Braithwaite. Like maybe she also needs him to be able to get to these pages as well. Like there's a reason they keep including them, because otherwise you could say like she could just go to this house on her own.
Yeah, she needs him. It's a little strange because, yeah, she could have just told him straight up, right? Or she could have given him the money or said, I'll give you this money on the condition that you help me find these missing pages. But instead, she gives it to his friend, hoping that he gets roped into living at the house, I guess.
Yeah.
And then hoping that he asks her about it. It's a very convoluted plot.
I mean, she literally could have paid anyone else to go in that house to look for these papers, but there has to be some reason why, like, she's insistent upon like it being, Letty and Atticus together. I wonder if I know we didn't quite touch on this earlier, but when Letty and Atticus hook up at the party, and we learned that that was Letty's first time, I don't know if I couldn't think of a reason for including that besides this might come back into the plot later. Like maybe some sort of conception angle is being played here.
Yeah, I'm trying to, like, after these first three episodes, I'm just trying to, like, not read too much into little elements like that. I'm just assuming that it was just thrown in there because it seems like they're throwing a lot of stuff at us and not all of it sticks or matters in like the context of the big story. So I'm just trying to like think of that as like a character touch that, she's this tough, seemingly sort of world weary person who's been through a lot, but also she's sort of innocent or inexperienced sexually, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a character element more than it is like a story beat.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a little unclear, but who knows? We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair to say either, because I think there has been some things that have not been quite paid off with the show yet. So
yeah,
it could go either way. But I don't know if it adds more to her character, or to me, we'll see. We'll see.
I don't really think it adds much. Like, it doesn't change or like deepen the way that we relate to her or anything. For me, I don't know. So I don't know. I don't exactly. Yeah. I liked her before. I liked her after. It doesn't make a difference.
I just think the choice was like sort of meh. So I think I kind of wanted a little bit more from that. But
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Is it supposed to be like true love or something? Is that the idea? And if so, like, is it like they don't like she seems into him and he seems kind of super turned off by it. So I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, that's
But
what I mean. Like
oh
it just it seems like kind of like unfair to not let him know about this also. Like I'm just saying, like it just it's her prerogative, but also like I feel like I don't know. To me, it was a weird writing choice. So we'll see if this actually comes up again, or if this is something they're just like you say, like we don't get a payoff from it, and we just keep it moving.
yeah, it's just the thing that happens. Yeah, I can see it going either way for sure. I agree. Oh, and another thing I was gonna say was that again, this might be nothing. This might be something. His aunt, Atticus's aunt, Hippolyta Freeman, she does a thing early on where she takes Dracula and she seems like she's like under in a trance or something, and she sort of feels the pages of the book kind of erotically, and then she starts ripping them out. And then I thought about that when I saw the Christina speech at the end. Does that have anything to do with that? Like, is she possessed by the spirit of the cast out constructor of um, Letty's house, who ripped up the pages of the other book? Does that have anything to do with it? I don't know. But it was a weird moment, and they made a point to show it and linger on it, and I was confused.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, circling back, I mean, I was wondering if like the way we never see George's body, and I'm like, do you think there'll be some ghostly element with him as well? Like, could he come back into play in the house? Could he be affecting Hippolyta?
I definitely think Courtney B. Vance as George will be back, but whether it's as a ghostly apparition or in flashback, I'm not sure. But
Mm-hmm.
he's too big a star for them to not use again in some capacity for a
Mm-hmm.
couple more episodes, I would think. So I'm predicting he'll be back. But yeah,
I I mean,
if you ask me to,
speaking of a
yeah, I
star
don't
that
know.
we're not seeing much of, Michael K. Williams, who plays Atticus's father. I'm kind of bummed that we like spent 2 episodes getting Montrose, and then we took 30 seconds of this episode to like not see him anymore.
And yeah, it'd be nice to just see more of him in general because he's Michael K. Williams, and you have Michael K. Williams. It's like an NBA team having a really talented player just sitting in the wings.
Yeah,
Uh,
put
and
him
like they
in.
don't play him at the end of the game or something. Put him in exactly. Um, yeah, but hopefully that'll happen later. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of later, where do you think this show is going from here? Is this Sons of Adams thing gonna be like this continuous like puzzle piece we're putting together? I kind of, in a lot of ways, since last episode, hoped that we were done with Sons of Adam, but here we are.
I agree. Like it's not that strong of a thing. Like I'm more interested in these characters dealing with the real life problems and just random monsters. I don't really care about this secret order. But like give me more monsters, fine. But like or just like weird episodic horror things. That's cool. But I don't. Yeah, I don't really care about this cult right now. But that's also a setup thing. Like they could have made us care about, like we talked about last time. But they kind of they rushed it, and so we're just not that invested in the stakes of this crazy kooky family that Atticus and Montrose are somewhat related to. Montrose, who is his dad slash uncle.
Yeah. I mean, Dunkel,
Dunkel.
Dankel. I agree, and I feel like the thing is like there was not like enough world building with Sons of Adams at this point.
Yeah,
For where we are in the story and how much we should be invested in like finding these pages at this point, I don't know what any of this means, and it's hard for me to care either way without like more background on like what this actually means for like humanity. Like, does it matter if they get these pages? Should we care? So I guess that's just like more like where I don't understand how this has anything to do with Atticus besides the fact that he's like related to them. But overall, as a plot device, yeah, again, like you said, like I don't think it's that strong and we don't care.
yeah. They can still do stuff to make us care. They haven't lost us because it's interesting enough. But yeah, I guess we'll see.
Yeah. I do like the way that we're switching through genres though, like subgenres of horror. So I'm super excited to see where else they take this. Maybe do you think we'll get zombies?
Yeah, zombies. Yeah, that'd be cool. I guess. I don't know. like Lovecraft has like in Reanimator the movie. I don't again. I haven't read Reanimator the short story. I don't know, but in the movie there are like reanimated zombie, um, sort of like brain dead creatures, uh, and some not even totally brain dead. They're like more evil versions of the people that they were when they were alive. Basically, it's really cool. But yeah, so like there's plenty of Lovecraftian Cthulhu mythos to exploit still. But yeah, anyway, okay, so let's see. Closing thoughts. Where do you think? So we both sort of think there's going to be a lot more Sons of Adam stuff going forward, right?
Yeah.
And maybe a couple. You think it'll be wrapped around zombie episodes, or do you think it'll be like mainly Sons of Adam with new monsters?
I think it's gonna be like mainly Sons of Adams with like new monsters.
Okay. I'm gonna go the other way with it just to be the counterpoint. I have no idea, but it's just more interesting if one of us winds up being wrong. So I don't know. I think it'd be cooler if they made it more like just weird random adventures and they sort of have the same characters experiencing them. That'd be cool. But yeah, I think you might be right. I think it would make more sense for it to be this main story and then occasional side episodes like this one.
I mean, if you had asked me like episode two, I would have thought that we would have, sort of like we were gonna be each episode is gonna be much more contained in itself, and that we were never gonna like really cross as much. But it looks like this Sons of Adam thing is gonna be the red thread. I was just sort of hoping that like Atticus and company just become like monster hunters, but it looks like it's going more in the sort of like mythical predetermined destiny route.
Yeah, which is it could be interesting. We have to see. We have to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I got. Well, thanks Armani for checking in on this week's installment of Lovecraft Country, and look forward to talking to you next week about episode 4.
Yeah, looking forward to talking to you about next week, and we'll see you guys soon.
TV Corner.